Welcome back to another monthly recap video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over every single album that I listened to in the month of February. So first I listened to It's Sorted by Cheekface. This just feels like a bunch of geeks having fun and being their unfiltered and corny selves while also providing some thought-provoking social commentary. It feels stylistically similar to the Unicorns. It's lyrically witty, anxious, extremely self-aware, and just brings a lot of charm to the table. Then I listened to Romantic Piano by Gia Margaret. This record feels like it's posing as something more interesting than it actually is. Because of its minimal nature, I would expect more complexity to these compositions, chord progressions, melodies, and harmonies, but it's just not really there. Then I listened to Imagine by John Lennon. I do wish there was a more consistent vision for the production on this album, but yeah, the songwriting is great and extremely catchy. I probably won't come back to this as much as some of the classic Beatles stuff, but there's still a couple standout tracks. Then I listened to Everybody Cant Go by Benny the Butcher. Stellar production, hungry flows, and a solid feature list makes this an early 2024 standout. Then I listened to Michael by Killer Mike. The discussion around this winning over Utopia at the Grammys is just kind of corny. People claiming that this shouldn't have won because they don't know who Killer Mike is kind of embarrassing. I think the rapping is honestly better than it was on Utopia, and I think the song topics are more interesting too. The gospel-infused production on this record is catchy, it's soulful, and it serves as a perfect backbone to the inspirational messaging. Then I listened to Phantom Thread by Johnny Greenwood. Now this is a soundtrack for the film by the same name, Phantom Thread. I don't usually review soundtracks, but man, Johnny absolutely killed it here. The luxurious and elegant feeling of these compositions perfectly encapsulates the mindset of the film's main character, and I think it does exactly what a soundtrack needs to do. Then I listened to Little Rope by Sleater Kinney. This is another Sleater Kinney album that doesn't really connect with me. The instrumentals are the best aspect of this album, but the vocals completely lack bite and are generally unlistenable for me. I think leaning more into a heavy sound would really improve this album because it kind of just sits in a weird gray area where it's not doing any one thing that great. Then I listened to Led Zeppelin 4 by Led Zeppelin. This feels like the band's most mature of the first four albums, and it really does a great job of balancing each member's strengths. The guitar rhythms and textures are the most interesting they've ever been, and the construction of these songs feels more deliberate than ever before. I think I still enjoy the punchiness and direct nature of their first album the most, but I wouldn't be surprised if this eventually grows to be my favorite Zeppelin record. Then I listened to I Used to Think I Could Fly by Tate McRae. Now surprisingly, I think this is actually slightly better than Think Later. The vocals are kind of more naturally treated and not as annoying as they are on Think Later. However, any ground that this album makes up with those better vocals is really held back by the melodrama, extremely bland production, writing that's as deep as a kiddie pool, and songs that feel rushed and unfinished in an attempt to stay under 4 minutes, which of course is some big sin in today's pop. And I listened to All Is Yellow by Lyrical Lemonade. When you go from the non-personalities of Lil Tecca, The Kid Laroi, and Lil Skies to the eccentric personalities of Tizo Touchdown, Juicy J, Cochise, and Denzel Curry on the very next track, it's no surprise you're gonna get a pretty inconsistent record. Then I listened to Snow Angel by Renee Rapp. After seeing Renee Rapp bring one of the best performances in that new Mean Girls movie, which was truthfully pretty rough, I would be lying if I said I wasn't slightly interested in checking out her music, and this honestly blew my expectations out of the water. I was expecting just some kind of bland TikTok pop type stuff, but Renee can actually sing. The vocal chops are there, and she's able to portray more emotion than most singers that operate within this style. She does sometimes use the babyish vocal style that's super trendy right now, which I kind of hate, but it doesn't fully ruin the experience. The songwriting is predictable at times, but is also heartfelt and occasionally displays her sense of humor. Renee has a lot of potential, and I just hope she continues to lean into the more ambitious moments on this record for her next release. Then I listened to Vultures 1 by Ye and Ty Dolla $ign. Despite having some of Kanye's most experimental production, this album just completely bores me. Even the out-of-the-box moments on this album are frustrating, like Kanye's grating delivery on Paid, and of course Ty Dolla $ign hilariously just repeating, "I'm just here to get paid." I'm just here to get paid. Which I think just kind of perfectly describes this album. Ty's just there to get paid, and it kind of, you can hear that through the music, because he is pretty boring throughout this album as well. Kanye doesn't really have anything to say, which I guess would be fine if there was actually some comedic value to this album. But Kanye is just so out of touch with reality that I find myself laughing at him more than laughing with him. And like I said, Ty's kind of a boring artist to me. I guess he's fine for a feature here and there, but for Kanye to do a whole album with him is just a weird choice. Then I listened to Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party. Okay, an indie rock record that sounds like a mix of Black Country New Road and hints of Paramore's newest record. Yes, please. This being the first official album from this band is extremely impressive. This album knows exactly what it wants to be, and it's executed with so much care and attention to detail. Even the more straightforward and catchy moments have this alluring quality that I know will keep me coming back. The vocals are stellar and occasionally bring shades of Hayley Williams, which is obviously a great comparison. The production and each instrumental texture is just brimming with personality. The writing is consistently thought-provoking. This is just shockingly good for a debut record, and I cannot wait to see what this band does next. Then I listened to What Now by Brittany Howard. Howard's powerhouse vocals serve as a way to ground this abstract and kaleidoscopic neo-soul extravaganza. You like those big words I'm using? I did a whole reaction on this album, so go check that out if you want to hear some more of my thoughts on it. Then I listened to Scrapyard by Quadingleberry. What Quadeca deems as scraps, stuff that maybe didn't fit on Haunt You, stuff that maybe doesn't fit on his next album, are some of the most innovative, passionate, and well-produced songs of the year. Quadeca's songwriting and sense of song structure has improved even further since I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. This easily has his best rap performances to date, showing that Quadeca now has the confidence to bring back parts of his older music and incorporate it with his new style. This thing is full of range and really shows that he's a force to be reckoned with. I feel like some ideas here could be further developed, but more than anything, this just has me unbelievably hyped for his next conceptual record. Then I listened to Plastic Death by Glass Beach. This album's been getting a lot of hype, and I just don't really get it. The vocals are really kind of awful on this thing. They're either super whiny or just sound completely disinterested, and they really hold me back from loving this record. The songwriting is creative, and there is some cool instrumental moments, but yeah, those vocals are just kind of unlistenable. Then I listened to Little Dark Age by MGMT. This is a great display of sophisticated songwriting and detailed production that effortlessly combines natural instruments with strange and unconventional synths. Did a reaction to this one as well, so go check that out if you want to hear some more thoughts on it. Then I listened to Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. It's just so hard to separate this album from nostalgia and not look at it through rose-tinted glasses, but that's just how good the hits are on this record. Like Time to Pretend, Electric Feel, and Kids are just perfect pop songs to me. The rest of the album doesn't quite reach the same highs as those tracks, but man, the production is just super solid throughout, and MGMT's knack for crafting earworm melodies is super impressive. Then I listened to Capra Songs by FKA Twigs. Are there some interesting vocal melodies here? Sure. Is the general vibe and aesthetic of the record cool? Yeah, but the songs often feel too derivative of Charli XCX and just feel like they're missing something. The really skeletal approach of this record at times just kind of turns me off, and for an artist that I associate with the more experimental side of pop, this album just feels really generic and uninspired to me. Then I listened to Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. Apart from the tacky ending, to say the least, this record is pure dynamism. From the bouncy bass lines to the maximalist production to the insanely well-crafted melodies, this record is one of the most accessible but also well-produced pop albums of the 2020s. Then I listened to Run the Jewels' self-titled record. The lyrical focus and chemistry between Killer Mike and LP here is definitely the highlight of this album, but some of the production choices are hit or miss for me. You'll get some vocal effects on some of the hooks that sound cheap and tacky, but then you'll also get some industrial-leaning production that goes insanely hard. Overall, this is a pretty cohesive experience that really displays the duo's hunger and passion, and it's a pretty solid starting point to their career, but I feel like it just sometimes doesn't lean hard enough into these left field weirdo-isms. So there you go, that's every single album I listened to in the month. Kind of a light month, so Hopefully next month I'll have some more time to discover some new stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, go join the Patreon if you want to see some uncut reactions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.